Previously on Odyssey of the Dragonlords. Last time the party fought for their lives against a young Cerberus deep in the Mithral Forge. They then eventually met the Guardian of the Forge, and by offering it its freedom, persuaded it to get the Forge back up and operational. The last few weeks have been busy. Your group, with Vulcan, Kira, and a steady stream of dwarves returning here, have been getting the place operational. And now we return to see what the party's going to get up to, as their next challenges are on the horizon. Alright then, guys. So yes, you guys are back at the Mithral Forge. You have been here for the last couple of weeks, getting this place back up and running and having things go from that point of view. So the way it's worked out, Vulcan has been, slowly but surely bringing more and more of the dwarves back that have worked this place before or are of the families of those same groups. And they've basically been slowly but surely setting the place up and working on it. You guys have been taking a reasonably good rest in the interim time as well, and sort of getting used to what's been going on. But I suppose the main things we've got to work through is in this couple of week period that we're kind of dealing with here. What parts or what things are you having built now that you have this newly powered up forge, if that makes sense? So let me bring you back through the sheet so you can see what you're dealing with here on that front. So these things take time.
Can we?
As many as you like, but you know that they will take time to produce, and at this point, a couple of weeks have passed. So it's kind of we're in the point of what are the first things you want on the list to happen, and then you have to go through to the points of what are the things you want to put in the order list for later, if that makes sense. So has anyone had any thoughts or have any thoughts?
I think I was thinking about it from a point of view of what's going to benefit our missions the most, really. And based on what we've seen so far, we get clobbered a lot.
You definitely get clobbered a lot.
So it's just that we also have the weapons of Pythor. I have a broken axe from Xander, is that right?
Yes, you do have a broken axe from Xander that could be a very powerful magical item if it gets repaired. That's a week. That's a week's worth of time to happen.
Or that's a 5. Shield.
That's a 5.
You had a shield as well, didn't you? Yeah.
Yes, correct. That's another one that would take about 5 days to repair if you're going to go. Yeah, I will give you this. That when we're actually returning, and it's 2 weeks after the original date. Heliod, you had a message that morning from Valus that someone is on their way to try and collect the party to bring them to Mitros. So you're aware that you're probably leaving on this day, if that makes sense. You've got that.
Okay. So we can use up 14 days worth of time, and then you can have your orders for what you want to start to come, and obviously, depending on how far away you are from the forge, will be how long it will take to arrive, if that makes sense in the scheme of things.
So far we've used up 10 days just fixing up the stuff that we've picked up on our travels.
Because they were the two most powerful magical items you could repair in theory. Okay, so the orders then, so we've done your two big ones, your axe and your armor. So they're out of the way. Then what was next on your list after that? The Mithral ones, the Mithral weapon.
What else do we need as well?
So if we do Mithral weapon plus 1,
2 Xander items we need first.
Yes, so that's 10 days.
Yeah,
we'll say, but by the time this comes up, it's the end of the last of this next one, because it's 5 days. So if we say if you pick a Mithral weapon plus 1 or an amulet of health, one of those two will be done.
I think
you're waiting
Mithral
5
weapon
days.
plus 1 first.
Yeah, and then
kills quicker.
Yeah, and then
amulet of health would be good.
Then amulet of health is the thing that's being built now, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
I think the staff of healing is probably the next
the
on the
lightning
list,
staff thing.
You definitely need the ingredient of a chimera's goat head to make that happen. So you don't have one
now, actually. So we can ask.
Yeah, definitely.
Javelin of lightning is on the list.
Orb Star Metal.
Can we go for a javelin lightning next?
You have no way of starting the build. You don't have the item.
Does that go for all of this then, apart from the missile chain and weapon?
For the Mithral and the Amulet of Health. The rest, some of them are easier to procure than others, if that makes sense. But yeah, the Orb of Star Metal, you have no idea where to look. Chimera Goat Head, the idea would be to go and find Chimera Island, which means you have to go out in the seas, but it's not impossible, but it's not going to be now.
Golden Fleece.
Golden Fleeces, you have to get to something like Thylea's Island or the Heartland Island, so that's going to be a while, but something that you will be able to do in time.
Yeah, and I think in the meantime, then, does anyone else need Constitution increasing? Because if there's nothing else we can make,
I'm assuming all of you do.
Then
all of us.
Rather than doing nothing, just make amulets of health for everyone. I think.
Yeah, I mean, 4 amulets of health, couldn't we?
Yeah, so you start him off on that process until he hears otherwise, if that makes sense. Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, gotcha.
And top of my list is still Javelin of Lightning. So to help my distance attacks.
100%.
One quick thing. What armor can Andy wear?
I think he can wear
any chain.
He can. I'm not sure he can, but let me have a quick look at his sheet because this is key. Because I think
it's medium.
I think it is medium that you can. Yeah. I think you can take Warcaster to get you to anything more. So medium. So is medium is things like leather armor, studded leather armor, things like that. Heliod would be what would be the limit.
So chain would be.
That's heavy.
The next one up.
That's a heavy armor. So yes, so Heliod, you take you basically give everyone the call. Kira joins you all. You make your way to the surface. You've been up here a few times. There's a few of the dwarves around up here as they have started sort of trying to rebuild some of the entrances and get things more proper. There also been people doing cutting work to make cutting work to get the forestry back down to make the path towards going back to Astoria more doable, if that makes sense, and things like that. So you've had a lot of that. But yeah, basically, when Heliod is the first to sort of spot it, as he knows where he's looking, but he points out to the rest of you a few little dots on the horizon in the sky. Basically, in the distant skies, you can make out 3 winged forms approaching you. The sun shimmers off their scales, and you realize that they are young copper dragons on their way in. You've heard rumors that there are dragons in Mitros, but these creatures are far more splendid than you imagined. The dragons are ridden by red-cloaked knights, high-ranking centurions from the city. The dragons begin to descend and touch down several yards away from you all. Right, yes. So you guys see these creatures start to land. Off the back of them, these 3 centurions start to dismount to sort of make their way over to you guys. They look like they have intent, but they're not coming along in a sort of a threatening way, if that makes sense. I mean, Heliod, you recognize high-level guard of Mitros from a distance. Not that you've seen the dragons up this close, which is more, they're slightly more disturbing in some ways. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you do sort of kind of recognize that, and the one that clearly looks like he might be the leader sort of steps forward in front of the rest, and he says, "Greetings. I understand you should be aware that we were to arrive. Apologies if we've startled any of you." And,
that's okay. We were informed of your arrival, and are you going to take us back to the city?
We have been ordered to come here and collect you and bring you to the city. Yes, King Acastus has left us with orders. Yes, I'm afraid our dragons won't be able to carry you, but we will be able to at least give you an air escort. As we get closer to the city, well, the obvious will be a thing. We will have to land as well. But the king does order. But the king orders you to make haste to Mitros.
Is there a situation?
There is. It seems that whatever your group has been up to has angered the Stormlord Sidon. He now threatens our city. The king believes you have to come before him, explain yourselves, and come up with a solution to appease the Stormlord.
Then indeed, we must go with haste.
We must.
Agreed.
Appease him, we will.
The things that you do obviously notice here is Silas is wearing a crown of the dragonlords, a full-on, regal set of armor that is kind of the dragonlords, if that makes sense, from back in the day. What these guys are wearing, you would consider it the second generation knockoff version of that. And you can tell all three of these guys are checking Silas out and just the way he's sort of they're kind of looking on. The only difference is that those guys, they don't feel too bad about it. They have dragons. so there's there's definitely some tension there already as this is going on. And he says, my name is Tarkon anyway, captain of the guard here. My colleagues and I will keep an eye from overhead, but do you feel like you guys can get on the road this day, now? Or do you need an hour to be ready?
I don't see why not.
We can go on the hoof.
Very well. We will follow from the air.
Have you got a bigger dragon?
He said, he's still young, but he's growing quickly. Definitely. But one day he will be bigger. He will be big as the kings one day. And he sort of pats him on the side and he's clearly jesting with him. But yes, they do well. They've been growing at a tremendous rate.
I might get that dragon bridle.
So he seems pleasant enough, if that makes sense, as this is all going on. But yeah, these guys sort of take to the skies, flying above you as this is all going on, and you guys make haste towards Mitros, I guess is the way things work out.
Excellent.
So yes,
we've got an escort.
You've got an air escort of these guys as they are going to be on the road. And Kira says, "Oh, their dragons really do give me the creeps.
Why?
They're not right. They're definitely not right. I don't know why, but they're not right." And she's like, looking at them, looking back and forth, and it's like, I can't put my finger on it right now. There's something wrong with them.
Enchanted, perhaps?
The only way I can describe it is I think they look older than they are.
Silas, what do you think? You know dragons.
You
feel anything?
Make a wisdom insight check, Silas. Let's see what you're picking up.
Check wisdom. Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I mean, as Modius asks that question, there's just a pillow of smoke around Silas's head from whatever he has been smoking. His eyes are almost glazed over.
You smoke too much.
As this is going
Heliod,
on.
can you sense good and evil? Have you got that ability?
I've got that ability.
Yes, old pothead over there has.
I can't sense anything untoward, but I could sense good and evil, even while stoned.
Absolutely, you can. You certainly can on that front.
Congratulations.
I've just got to find out which.
That's all right. I know the spell, so it's not a problem.
It's divine sense.
Yeah, it's divine sense is fine on that one. You're not picking up anything over and above what you normally do. Kira giving off the glow of a god that she does from being on the celestial side, but you're not getting anything off of these in those terms, if that makes sense. You're not getting suddenly these guys are horrendously evil or any of that stuff going on, and you're not on consecrated ground or anything like that.
Is Vulcan with us, or is he?
Vulcan is in the forge, busy working. Okay. Yeah, so he is not up here at the moment as this is all going on. But yeah, Kira's like, regardless of the smoke over there, they're definitely not right. But I just can't. I just don't know why. But I think I don't think we have much choice. If my sister is called Heliod, they must be on the up and up enough, I guess. And she's sort of like, you can see she's a bit twitchy that with what's going on here. Yeah, she's dubious about what's going on, but yeah. She may not have the best of relationships with her sister, but she at least will trust her summons on that front.
Well, we can't do much with 3 dragons, can we? I guess we go along.
Yes.
Yeah. Move along. Let's go.
Okay, so yes,
Well,
you
we've
guys.
not met her yet either, have we? I don't know. We did meet her in the earlier levels.
Which one, Valus? You mean?
Sidon, is it?
Oh, Sidon. No, you haven't met Sidon. You've just come up against things like statues of him and weird and wonderful things like that. Yeah, you've not.
And the Sidon that the dragons and the soldiers are taking us to meet.
You met Commander Gaius from the city before. That's what you're thinking of. Yeah, no, that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, you met him and his silver dragon Argon when you were when you were in Astoria. He was pissed off that you guys didn't get slaughtered by basilisks. Do you remember when you were on the?
That wasn't one of the gods then.
No, that wasn't one of the. That wasn't one of the gods. No, he was a dragon rider like these guys on that front.
Okay.
So Kira's is also wondering, is like, where on earth is everybody getting their dragons from? This is what I don't understand right now. We've not had. There's not been sightings of dragons in forever, and now everybody seems to have bloody dragons.
Are they undead dragons?
That is rather strange.
Silas would know from his doing of divine sense they're definitely not undead on that one, so he knows they're living. As
they're ancient dragons, no?
If I can detect good and evil, can I detect whether they're good dragons?
No, it doesn't work like that. If you read what it says on your spell there, it says you can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell on that one, and then a few other details. So it says strong evil or strong good ring in your ears. It's not like every version of a person you would be able to tell their moral alignment.
Yeah.
If you were coming up against the big bad, yes. I'm going to put it in those terms. Is the way it actually works.
Well, if I can speak dragon, can I ask them?
Oh, you can definitely. Yeah, you can certainly speak to one of them as it's there. Yeah. What do you ask one of these creatures, Silas?
Can you say it to us in the dragon as well?
Should I say, how old are you, Mr. Dragon?
The rest of you hear him just say something in a language you can't understand, and what you hear back, Silas, is I don't know how old I am. Not been around long though. Not been around long. It's all fun and games though, isn't it? It's amazing out here. Massive, wide world. So much going on, isn't it? I've not seen anywhere like this. What's down there?
As well, so I can understand this.
You
right?
can, Cal. Yeah, anyone that can speak Draconic is understanding what's going on. This is saying there.
So where have you come from, Mr. Dragon?
They feed me in that big city. That guy, and he points to one of the soldier captains. He looks after me, gets me good meat. He's given me a few coins as well. I've got my little hoard growing now.
Who's his mum?
I have 75 silver.
They must have a mum.
It looks incredibly proud of itself, Silas, as it says that. That's like a few gold.
That is very impressive.
Yeah. I know. I have the biggest hoard of all 3 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, here you go. Here's another 5 silver.
His eyes just go the eyes go wide as it's like looking at that.
Ask him how many of them there are, and do they have like?
So how many are these? Your brothers and sisters next to you?
Sure. He sort of looks around at them. You get the sense, Cal, he doesn't know when you ask that question.
Do you know who your parent is?
What's a parent?
So mother, father, does that make any sense to you at all?
Not ringing any. No. Like the king, you mean? And the queen? Or
someone's breeding dragons, are they?
No, there's a few of us. we don't get on with the bigger guy. But yeah, we're pretty chummy.
Ah, who's the bigger guy? What's his name?
What colour is he? What colour is he?
Icarus Silver. Yeah, he's a big beastie.
A big old silver dragon.
Yeah, he's definitely growing quicker than we are.
He's growing quicker than you?
Yeah. I know, that's what I said. Crazy.
Well,
I'm massive.
yes.
I'm massive already. Look at me. And the Will of Wings like... you realise at this point, Cal and Silas as well, at this point, the soldier captains don't understand what you guys are saying. They aren't able to speak Draconic.
So what's your name?
What's the name?
You don't have a name? You don't get called something? Referred to as... My name is Cal Magasa Erpsarian.
Well, this guy keeps calling me something, but I didn't know that... Is that my name, then?
What does he call you?
He's been calling me Xylus.
Ah, well, Xylus sounds like a name to me. That's a good name, too.
Ah, maybe I am Xylus. Cool.
Well, pleased to meet you, Xylus.
And, the soldier captains are sort of looking on and saying, I heard rumors some of you may be able to speak with the beasts. I'm surprised, but maybe I shouldn't be.
You can't? You can't speak to them?
No, that is a lost language, I'm afraid. Only people, I guess, like your friend there, as he points to Silas, which should really know it. I am surprised that you do, as he sort of looks at Cal.
Cal kind of lowers his head a little bit.
Yeah, Silas is kind of like, I kind of expected it of someone that was once a dragonlord. But you, sir, that's more surprising.
I've been around and I took an interest in Draconic. I can pick up some of what it's saying, but not all.
Make a deception check, Cal.
Okay.
Okay, right, fair enough. As this is going on, he sort of nods in your general direction as it goes on, and it sort of takes it as the word on that one. Is there anything else you guys are trying to get out of these dragons and bits before you start?
I'm just going to say one. Well, I'm going to say one last thing to this chap that I've made friends with.
To Tarkon or the dragon? Sorry,
the dragon.
Yeah, the dragon. No problem. Yeah, Silas. Hi. You got any more silver?
I could possibly come up with some more silver later on, yes. But if ever you get mistreated, you come and find me and I'll help you out, okay?
Yeah. Okay. I do quite well. Nice to meet you too. So nice to be able to talk. And you
did fantastic.
If it has an accent, Cal, it might not be the greatest. If that would be the best way. Do you ask anything else of it, barring the?
What about the guy they want us to go and see?
The king.
The guy they want us to go and see. The king.
The king. Sorry.
Yeah, King Acastus is the name. You do know that.
Acastus, yeah. What does he think of King Acastus?
He says I've seen the guy with the pointy crown thing. I've seen him a few times, but he's with the big one all the time, so we don't go near him very often. The big one scares me.
Oh, yes. The big one. Yeah, I believe that. Don't worry, one day you'll eat him.
Man, it just goes. His eyes sort of go a bit wide at that in the moment. But it says he's trying to think that through, but it's like, we'll see. But the soldiers start to mount up, and they take to the skies above you guys as this is all going on. You guys then, I guess, will be starting on the trek on that one as this is all going on. You guys are up in the mountains over here by not too far from Telemoc, somewhere in between Astoria and that. It takes you about a day to get on the road towards Mitros, and for some of you, it's probably the first time you're heading to the big city, Heliod. This is basically going home, which is certainly a nice one on that front. Is there any info or bits that you need about the city before you go in that you might be passing on to the others, if that makes sense? On that one, I can give you things like, King Acastus is married to Valus, which is the god that you've met before in the city. So they are the king and queen of the city. You have obviously you had a message from the queen saying that people from the king are coming. So you don't know all the dynamics, but you at least know that the king has ordered you to make your way there. Clearly, they think this is important because they've sent 3 dragons to round up your lazy asses. Makes sense. So there's definitely been a bit of that going on. You know that the cities, there's plenty of politics going on always in the city, and you know that the king is well liked and well favoured. Heliod is probably the best way of putting it. So he is best way of putting it, much loved by the people. Not so much by your kind, the religious types and things like that. You guys end up more on the worshipping the 5 gods side of things. So it kind of there is a lot of at odds stuff that's going on, if that makes sense.
Interesting to find out why he's upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it that has happened for?
Yeah. So I think. Yeah, so I think what happens is that you guys you're getting close to the city, as you can see what's going on here. But as you start to approach the city of Mitros, you are reminded of its immense scale. Its walls and temples sprawl across the foundations near Mount Vulcan. Its great harbour, stretches out for miles across the coast. This is the jewel of Thylea, the bastion of mortal civilization. But something is wrong. Massive swirling black crowns loom over the city, the wind battering its ships, tearing at banners. Howling gales greet you as you draw closer to the city gates, and it becomes more and more difficult to put one foot in front of the other. The dragons have all had to land as well, and they're all trying to batten down the hatches but you guys have to are sort of pushing on with Tarkon in towards the city as this is going on.
Was it like this when I left?
Tarkon says, "This is why we this is why we came. Yes, we were ordered to collect you. The king believes this is your doing."
Interesting.
No,
you saved some teenagers.
You're setting yourselves up against the Titans. There was always going to be cost. Don't misunderstand me. I am passing on the messages of my king. That does not mean I truly believe all that is being said here in these moments. I believe that some of this would have come to pass anyway. And then you can see he's an honourable guy. Is probably the best way of putting it as this is going on. He's not blind to what may be going on in some of the situations as this is going on. Basically, you can see the royal gates up ahead, not too far away, as guards start to urgently beckon you on towards the doors through the torrential rain. Glancing up into the sky, you notice something ominous has materialized within these giant storms above the city. And what you can see is what looks to be like the equivalent of the spinning eye of a hurricane, the sort of the center of it, if that makes sense. And in that sort of image above your heads, there is the vision of a giant's face in the clouds, if that makes sense, with glowing eyes. The visage of the Lord of Storms. His angry eyes seem to rove above the city until they abruptly lock on your exact position where you guys are by the doors. You suddenly see whatever this giant image in the sky is sort of like seems to ball its hands together, and what appears is like a giant bolt of anime lightning appears in its hands, and then it chucks it at you guys from afar, from the skies above you, as this is going on. I need you all to roll initiative for me in this moment.
We're meant to be his guests. How dare he?
not the god. The Titans are not that. Yeah. As this is all going on. Okay, so which one of you got the lowest score? Heliod did. Okay. So you are the last to react as this giant bolt of lightning is thrown from the sky from this basically god. As this is going on.
I haven't actually rolled yet.
Says you've got an 8. Says you've got an 8, so I don't know how you.
That's weird.
I didn't roll either. I don't know.
I didn't roll
It
either.
usually has a little dice in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it usually
Unless it
does.
rolled for us.
Yeah, maybe it rolled for you.
I've clicked on initiative. It's not done anything.
Well, yeah, because it's already rolled in, so I don't know why. Okay, let me do it. Let me do it again. So if we close it up, and then I'll add you all in again, and try rolling again. It might help Heliod, although he still rolled a 4 by the looks of it.
Oh my! The bolt of lightning, Heliod. We're standing next to each other when it hits.
Okay, okie dokie. So Modius and Heliod. Okay, so I need you both to roll me a d20. I need to figure out how do we break the tiebreak.
Dice gun.
D20.
Yeah. 20. What was 20? 20. 2. 1. Roll.
Phew.
Okay, so as that goes, so Heliod, you got a 12. Modius, you ended up being the slowest to react in the moment. Okay, so this giant lightning bolt from the sky, from a god, has literally been thrown at you. Let me find lightning bolt.
Can I be surprised?
No, you cannot. But you're not surprised by that. You can see a giant thing. You were just slowest to react in the moment as this is all going on. Let's see what we can do.
I have advantage on dex saving throws against effects, so you can see you are not blinded, deaf, and dying.
That's okay. That's great, because the next thing you have to do is you have to make a dex saving throw against what's incoming here.
Just a normal roll, isn't it? I think?
Yeah. And this will be lightning incoming. Modius, you rolled a 4 for a dex save. Yeah, so you fail the one. You take 25 points of lightning damage from this attack from this god from the skies in the moment as it blasts.
If I get advantage on dex saving throws, normally there used to be like a advantage, disadvantage, 2 numbers.
Yes, you should have. What's giving you advantage on dex saves?
In my character sheet, it says I have danger sense. You have advantage on dex saving throws against effects that you can see while not blinded, deaf, and dumb.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, what you need to just roll me one more. Let's see if you can get better than a 4. You need better than a 4. Roll the same one again.
Dex. Oh, sorry. I can press advantage, can't I? On this?
You can, but you've already rolled it once, so you now need to just roll it again.
So I don't roll normal. Okay.
You roll normal this time. Yeah. On that front. Okay, yeah, you've improved to a 6. So yes, unfortunately, 25 points of lightning damage as you're hit in the moment by this as this thing blasts you from above.
Okay.
So yeah, as that happens, you just see everyone looks around and just see like the fur on Modius has just gone up like like he's been hit by lightning, which is no surprise on that one. You sort of like as this does, you see that the eyes of this creature above sort of dissipate after a few moments. Clearly this thing has just given you guys a warning of some description.
A roar
as this is going on.
A roar.
Fair enough. Into the open air as everybody sort of aghast around you, Modius, that you've just literally just taken a blast from a god and are still standing is probably the way to look at it. as this is all going on.
Did that tickle?
A little bit. I think it singed me bum fluff.
He's a little more singed than that, you know that much. So take the
shocking moment, wasn't it?
Absolutely. So yeah, you guys make your way into the city. It's a pretty much a quite a mess on the inside of the city as this is all going on. But the rain is still coming down torrentially. But the guys within the city are starting to move you quickly forward to try and get you towards the palace and things like that. So let me bring you through so you get your first look at the map of Mitros, so you can see what you're dealing with.
Modi, you smell of chicken.
Oh, that'll be my fried coconuts.
So yeah, so you guys have entered the city from over here. The rain is coming down heavily. The storms are going on. You're led basically through the streets as quickly as they can to get you towards the middle of the city, so you can go and visit the king and see and deal with what you can. Tarkon is looking at you, Modius, in kind of awe, as there's like, I can't believe I just witnessed that. As it's just like he's surprised to see that you've just shrugged it off.
Well, I've had worse.
And yeah, his eyes go wide as you say that, and he says, "Truly, maybe the heroes of the Heartlands are something else." And he sort of gives you a firm nod of approval of whatever you are. is probably the best way of putting it. So yes, you guys are led through the middle of the city. The Centurions escort you through some marble colonnades and into the palace directly towards the royal hall, where the king the king waits. Rain hammers down loudly upon the palace roof as you enter the throne room. An ear-splitting crack of thunder rolls across the sky. A middle-aged man with a powerful build sits on a gilded throne opposite the entrance, along with a bunch of other women and some other dignitaries, etc. And a very, very large creature in the middle of the room. And I'll bring you guys through as this is all going on.
Might be the effects. That's quite nice.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, it's starting to get there. And like I said, version 10 will be finished soon enough once we get a few more mods going. But yeah, you guys are sort of led in. Tarkon moves to one side and says, you must approach as you see fit. Icarus shouldn't attack anyone. And he sort of points out the giant dragon in the middle of the room as this is going on. But yeah, you guys can choose. You can either make your way through the throng of the crowd around the outside edges of the palace and then make your way down to see the king, or you can make your way into the center area, past the dragon, and then head on to see the king. Which way are you going to attempt this?
Go towards the dragon, and can you guys talk to this one as well?
That's up to you guys. Your choices, but yeah, you can see it up ahead. This thing is the largest creature you guys have ever seen in your lives, and it is literally sitting on a pile of silver, as far as you can tell. Kira is hanging back as this is going on, but yeah, you guys sort of make your way up. As you get closer to its horde, guys, it kind of it clocks all four of you as it sort of looks. I'm
going to get some
around.
silver out in my hand, Woody, and offer it.
It looks at you as you do that, Modius, and it's sort of like it's looking like it's interested. So what do you do? What do you do, Modius? Do you drop it off?
Yeah, I dropped the silver into the base of the dragon.
And
nod.
Silas and Cal, you hear it say, "Yes, more to people to worship me," as it nods its head towards Modius as this is going on. It seems pleased, Modius, is what you can tell from not being able to understand it.
Cal, can you ask
Cal is
if I can
Cal is going to do the
pass,
same.
please?
Cal is going to do the same.
Can you ask if I can pass?
And then Cal is going to kneel in front of the dragon. and say, "May we pass?"
With such offerings, you may pass. But as you do, marvel at me and my horde. And
we do.
Yeah, but the other side of that coin, though, Cal, it's just silver. I mean, it's a lot of it. It's not like it's silver. A pile of amazing treasure it's sitting on the top of. On that front.
So in that, as we're coming past, I'm going to put out some gold, and I'm going to place that at his feet and say, "Do you have any of this at all?"
He says, "Not sure they're interested in gold, are they?"
Yeah, he kind of says, "Yes, the other metal I'm not so keen on for some reason. It doesn't seem as shiny to me. I've been told it's worth less than what my wonderful hoard is." You know that's definitely not true. As this is going on, Cal.
Quite right.
You have no idea, Heliod. You can't hear or understand what they're saying.
Oh yeah.
I park here and I kneel, my head down.
You're making your way towards the king. Yep, that's no problem. He seems to be waiting expectantly as this is all going on. What you would notice, Modius, is he's definitely clocking what's going on behind with all the rest of you. Heliod, what about you as you're passing all of this? What are you doing in these moments?
I just drop another one more silver into the pile and just nod towards the dragon.
Oh, okay, fair enough. It sort of looks at you as you pass, kind of like, "I've seen your kind before," and you don't understand a word it's saying as you're passing. You're just hearing like
I'm nodding.
It sounds like it's growling at you. This is all going on as Heliod is doing that.
I'm furiously nodding as I walk.
Cal just nods back at the dragon. Yes, he's our clown.
He didn't marvel at my hoard enough, but as Heliod passes, completely underwhelmed of it. Silas, meanwhile, as the last upcoming here, what does Silas do as he sees this majestic creature from his point of view?
I'll do the same as the others. I'll just toss a couple of silver coins on the pile.
And he says, "What do you think of my wonderful hoard? Isn't it amazing? Aren't I amazing?"
Yes, you are majestic, as is your hoard.
And he seems pleased by this, as this is all going on. So yes, Silas moves past without issue as this is all going on.
Hal is going to whisper as Silas as he comes up. He seems like a child.
Yes, he's a bit of an idiot, like that dragon we rode in on.
Well, the answer to that is absolutely. You're picking up exactly what seems to be going on with these things. They definitely they're like incredibly large toddlers, as far as you can tell from or it seems to be a case of it. So there's something odd going on as this is going on. So yes, literally up on the throne is this middle-aged man with a powerful build that sits there in a gilded throne. He seems to be surrounded by a few others. Heliod, you would be aware, Valus, the queen, is actually at the back behind all of this is going on. There is there is Bella, which appears to be one of the king's concubines, is literally standing on the side of the throne. There is Commander Gaius, the guy that you guys...
That's the guy we met in the Pythor's place.
That was the one you met in Astoria that wanted to tie you to a rock and have you killed by basilisks, and on that one. And then the other one that there's here is Heliod. You're the only one that would be aware of who this is. But this blue tiefling would be a servant of Lutheria and would be the highest, one of the highest members of her church within the city. So basically, a Titan, a member of the religious sect of the Titans, if that makes sense.
So this is quite strange then. So we've got one of the 5 gods here, and also
technically 2, because there's one of them's cowering at the back of the room, but she, where she hasn't made her way forward as all of this is going on. But yeah, the king seems to be in the command of the situation. The queen is off to one side with some look like bodyguards, this is all going on as this is going on. But the centurions in front of you all stand to attention as all this is going on. As this one, the king seems to beam at seeing you all, and he says, "So finally, here they are, the heroes of the Heartland. Welcome, honored guests. You have come not a moment too soon. I am in desperate need of your counsel. As you may have noticed, on this beautiful city of ours is besieged by evil weather. We've wasted several days discussing how best to placate the Lord of Storms, but my advisors here can't seem to agree upon anything. It appears the Oracle's prophecy has angered Sidon. That much is clear. You are the ones who are foretold to confront the Titans and restore balance to Thylea. Therefore, I have decided that you must be the ones to decide how this crisis is resolved. I look forward to hearing all of your input, and you're realizing in the moment, guys, this is not about him talking to you. Half of this is about his, extending his voice so that the crowds around you are hearing what's going on. So there is a lot of dynamic in this moment, if that makes sense. It's a contest of wills in some ways, but it's also a contest of who can win over the people.
My suggestion would be to speaker's corner style, to win the people, recite what the Oracle told us, and so the people are aware of it, and then look at the things we've done. So we've relit the fire, the Mithral fires. We have saved teenagers from certain death and being eaten.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because I'm not saying that you have to in this moment give me the speech. What I'm saying is that by what you're saying there is, do you think Modius is giving this speech, or is this as a group you decide one of you steps forward and recounts your events? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah. I wouldn't have done it because
you can think in terms of this is the the group mind of the party, if that makes sense, in the moment of what do you think happens as a group, as you what would be your first not attack but your first sort of response of words to try and win this scenario here, if that makes sense. So this is very different from you are trying both in some ways, I guess, is the way you're looking at it. Do you feel you need to what your words are weighing in to affect him or something else? But it might be a bit of both.
I guess the Oracle's words, what I try to portray is the Oracle's words are not just for us. They're for the people.
I see.
We are the people.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So it's not, kind of like the speech goes somewhere along the lines of, it's not just about, we may be the prophesized few, but it's the effects of us all, if that makes sense, and things like that.
Yeah,
I see what you're going with.
We carry a heavy weight.
So which one of you do you think
we don't feel that we can drop?
Yeah. So which one of you do you think is giving the speech as a group? Decide who's putting this forward against what the king has just said to you all.
Well, I guess I don't mind doing that, being that some people just suddenly get hit by lightning, so that weight is that gods are after us, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Would that work?
It absolutely can. It's just as a group in this moment. This is like you're seeing the the cutscene option come up, if that makes sense. So you make your choice, if that makes sense, as a group of. So are the rest of you letting Modius make this speech in the moment, if that makes sense? I'm not having him play it out word for word. He's going to make a roll, if that makes sense, to see how his words go over. But is that how it would play out, or do you think it would be one of the others of you?
Would it be a charisma roll?
You think it would be a persuasion charisma? Yes.
I've got 13 charisma. That is what I was going to say. Like, who's got the best charisma? I've got 13.
I'm only 13 as well.
What's Stu got?
Charisma is 15.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah,
maybe it would come best from a dragonlord. I don't know.
Well, these are things you might have to decide on. Silas is a dragonlord of the past, not necessarily the now.
I don't think Cal feels overly comfortable about putting himself out there on the stage at this moment in time. So probably one of the others would need to speak.
Okay. That's not a problem. Well, it's looking like it's probably going to, unless Heliod is saying something different, because this is your hometown, Turf.
It's Heliod's hometown.
Yeah, this is. Does he feel more comfortable in this environment than some of the others, or do you feel that Modius
They are your
talk?
people as well.
Yeah, I could try that angle, couldn't I?
Yeah, the one of the people from the city is an option. So sort of going with Modius's comments, if that makes sense, of that we may be the prophesized, and then but it affects us all.
Comes with a burden, as you can see, just been singed by God. Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like, unless there might be Heliod makes the roll then. Make a charisma persuasion on that one.
Charisma. Oh, this better be good.
Okay.
That did not go well.
No. Put on the spot in the moment, Heliod, as you sort of.
That's a good speech.
You kind of retell the tales of that you guys are. That you obviously you are the prophesized, but it affects everyone. All of this. He just seems to fall a little bit on deaf ears in the moment, and you don't feel like you're placating the king or the people in the moment as this is going on. But the king finally comes, listens to your. He says, "Interesting ideas. Speaking of your deeds so far, all the things that have probably angered the Stormlord in the first place, I understand well. What I'm not hearing is action. What we need now is solutions to the problem here. Placate the Stormlord in the moment. Being the offered chosen of the Oracle, I am assuming you have magic at your disposal, and you have things like the power to control the weather, change everything around us in a moment, in an instant. My people here await. Please, perform such a miracle." And he's literally waiting on you guys in the moment to basically cast an 8th level magical spell and solve the problem.
Interesting.
I've got some...
Is this guy just a... Is he a god, or is he...
No, he is definitely human. He is definitely human. The only thing... Yeah, his wife is a god. He is not. And you can see at the moment, actually, I think I'll give you this, Heliod, especially as you were making your conversation, you can see the queen is urging you on, but she seems like, oh, no, this is not working in the moment as this is all going on. But no, right now, the king is kind of, to the crowd and to you guys, he's kind of laid this whole thing on you, and he's basically said, where's your magic to solve the problem right now? Cast a spell and solve it.
If I were to cast Charm Person on him and it failed,
he would be aware.
Would he notice?
He would know. Yes, he would be aware of it, and you would probably be in jail if on that front.
People could see Carston.
I think I'd let the others know that the one to the right here is some sort of servant of the Titans. So I don't know exactly what, but if we can eliminate him, that might help the situation somehow. Because if I just have a feeling that he should not be there, not near one of the 5 gods.
You know that the churches of Lutheria and Sidon have to be maintained within the city. They're allowed to be in the city. It's not like that. There may be a cold war of sorts being done. They may well be your enemies, and that's probably true.
But they are allowed to be here.
But they are allowed to be here. They are not allowed to outlaw the worship of the Titans. That's part of the oath of peace that keeps the peace at the moment. So basically, so he's laid this on you. So I guess the ways to look at it is would you try and deflect that onto him in some way, as in why hasn't the good king done something about it, instead of waiting on someone else, which is one way of doing it. You could try and put it on we don't have those kind of magics, but we're more than happy to talk through other options. What kind of tact in a dialogue tree do you think you would take, if that makes sense, in this? I know it's a very different situation that you guys haven't played through before on this one, but it's kind of you're looking for different ways to try and either get on the king's good side or get on the people's good side and try and push it in a different way. But at the moment, he's laid that one on you. Do your magic and save the day.
Didn't we just show him that by getting hit by a bolt of lightning? Though, could we not illustrate that?
He hasn't seen that. The king hasn't seen anything like that, and he's not. Some of the people outside have seen it. Modis, absolutely. But the king isn't asking for you to stand there after you've been burnt by a bit of lightning. He's asking you to literally save the city right now. Literally control the weather, change it now, do it. Is what he's literally laid on you, and you've got to find a way to deflect that conversation.
I would be interested on why the king hasn't acted so far and removed this threat to your city.
So you're going to go with saying that out loud, Cal. Roll a persuasion check, not against him, but this is try to win the crowd over. Okay. You realize in the moment, Cal, there are murmurings as you do that, and you see the king's eyes start round a little bit on that front, and it says, "We have been under advisement for a few days," and he does give you a hard look, Cal, as this is going on. "But as I didn't create this issue, we thought we'd let the people that did solve it in the first place." And then he kind of he lets his demand of you do the control weather spell drop in the moment. He says, "However, our advisors here have come up with a few suggestions. Maybe you guys can now lay out your input." And you can see you've kind of gained an edge there, Cal, in the moment as this is going on. You've managed to deflect enough as this is going on. He's looking around and he says, "Bella, I believe you had an option." And he talks to the woman to one side of him. She seems to be holding his arm slightly, and she says to him, "Well, it seems to me, it seems that the god Sidon always is willing to take more livestock as sacrifice. It would be a very large sacrifice, I'm sure, to placate such a being at this time with so much anger at them," as she points in your general direction. "But I'm sure it could be done. Say 10,000 gold pieces worth of livestock would probably be about the right amount. I'm sure that must have some weight," as she says. And he sort of looks at her and sort of interesting. Do anyone else have any input? And then at that point, you guys notice the the tiefling that was lounging off to one side of the room sort of stands up in the moment and says, "My king, I may have another suggestion for you that might make some differences here on this one. I would have the king order 70 children of the city to take the black robes of Lutheria. They will be well treated within our realm, and they will be given the finest foods and wines. But their sacrifice would go a long way through his sister, working towards placating Sidon." And the king seems a bit like uncomfortable with that one as this is being said. But yeah, he kind of listens. And as this guy says that, Commander Gaius steps in front of him and faces the king, and he says, "My king, maybe there are better options. We know full well that Sidon is displeased with the five gods. I would have us go out into the city now and tear down the main building for the temple of the five gods. That sacrilege cannot stand forever." And obviously, you know that this guy is actually a loyal servant of Sidon, and who's literally asking this of him. And
I think I'll speak up at this point and say no. If I'm going to listen to anyone in this place, it would be Valus. She is, after all, the goddess of wisdom. Let's ask for her input.
And all these people that have been ignoring the queen in all of this will turn their heads towards her as she stands up, and she says, "The five gods have been here for 500 years, and we have never failed this city. I am sure, with the 4 remaining of us left, we would have enough magical power to perform the miracle that would be required to change the weather as needed." And you can see she's pulling herself to do this, Heliod, as she says on that one. "My king," she says, "I am your wife and always a loyal servant to this city. We will do this within the next day and solve this problem for you. And between you all, you need to decide which one of these routes are you going to push for."
So what the options are? She casts.
The option.
10,000 gold cows. Or
yeah.
60,
So the inclination is that you guys would have to foot the bill for 10,000 gold pieces worth of livestock. The other one is obviously the children get handed over to Lutheria. The temple of the five gods is destroyed within the city. Or Valus, with whatever reasoning of why she's uncomfortable with what's being said, performing some sort of a miracle to solve the problem. These are your 4 choices.
Is Valus good or bad? Or
she's definitely good.
Hilo would be very aware she's good.
She is.
If they get involved,
she's literally the goddess of wisdom. She's literally the goddess of wisdom.
What changes if she gets involved?
No, but what I'm concerned is if she gets involved, is she breaking the
oath, is it, or something?
The oath.
Not allowed to do anything. Like Vulcan had.
If she attacks any of the Titans, she would definitely break the oath. But this sounds more like what's being asked for is
changing the weather.
Changing the weather. Yeah, there's fine lines in Cold War, and this might be one of them. However, Heliod, you're definitely picking up. She is very uncomfortable with what's going on in here. So,
do you pray to her?
Why?
Is she one of your?
She is. Yes, I pray to her a lot. She is the goddess of wisdom. I pray to her for guidance often. Is there any way I can sort of pray under my breath at the moment and to her?
What about getting the crowd on board? Kind of looking at telling them that you pray for her wisdom every day.
If you want to, basically, you're basically at the point here, guys, where you're at the point of as a group, the route that you choose, that will then, you will determine a route that will kick in, and the crowd will be on board with what that route is, if that makes sense. So this is your key. This is like a key decision moment, if that makes sense, of things. Yeah, but yeah, that'll be the last thing we need to work out before we end play for the night. But
can we look back and just see where Kira is? Can we see her at all?
Yeah, you can definitely see she is at the very far end of the room, trying to be very well hidden, Heliod, as this is going on. But she is there. She's definitely in the room.
Is she making any sort of like nodding or shaking her head or anything, giving away her feelings about what?
Make an insight check.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Why is she holding back?
Interesting. But yeah, so Helios, yeah, in that moment, when you do look back and you do see her, you get a sense that Kira is obviously very interested and is taking in absolutely everything that's going on in these speeches. When her sister got up and she has moved forward, you can tell she is incredibly uncomfortable with what's going on right now. But you don't know why.
I don't understand why.
No, you don't know why. So, I suppose to end things off then tonight, guys, you've got to just make choice 1 to 4. It's going to be the 10,000 thing.
10,000 gold pieces isn't a bad idea.
You don't have 10,000 to your name anymore. You sold a bunch of it to make your stuff. Remember, you wanted all the armors, all the pretty stuff. Unfortunately, yes.
I mean, I'm going with Alice's suggestion. The goddess of wisdom says this is the right thing to do. She may look uncomfortable about it, but that's what she suggested.
Oh. Yeah, but you're a worshipper as well. So what happens if the temples are destroyed? That means that she gets
that'd be disaster,
by it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
I mean, it's definitely, it would definitely be like kicking sand in the face of the 5 gods, 100%.
Yeah, I wouldn't stand for that. I would never choose that.
Well, then again, wouldn't it sort of put the captain in a bad place? Or I can't remember his name now. It'd be his problem, wouldn't it, not ours?
He doesn't care. He's part of Sidon's forces. So
he's an evil, twisted little shitbag.
He wants that to happen anyway.
He wants it to happen. This is just a way to get what he wants. If that makes sense. If you can get the
king
king
we
to
just
sign it
saved
off.
a load of teenagers, it doesn't make sense to get another load of teenagers kind of.
That one is really weird and awkward. It's kind of like
we're not doing that.
Well, there's only one option, isn't there?
There is, yeah. I say we go with Valus's suggestion.
What was the thing again? So the world will end in fire and death. Take the 3 seas, take the silver fires of the last forge, claim the weapons of the dragonlords, drink from the bottomless dragon horn. His sister schemes.
Yes,
if we fail, the sky will rain black fire.
Mm-hmm. And the end will come. Basically, it's an end of the world scenario. Is basically what's being described. As this is going on.
The Order of Sidon has demanded Heliod's home, the Temple of Mithral, be taken down. As a rumor we had.
And that this is now literally he's attempting to have that happen.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's exactly what he's trying to achieve. Yeah. So you can see there's wheels within wheels. They're all trying to get what they want, and they're trying to get the king to sign off on it in the moment. But as the heroes of Thylea in the moment, your voice will have sway and weight in this moment to make a way of what's going to happen next go down. And it sounds like you're gonna
go with that.
It's on that one. So I need you.
Yeah, I think we need to. Yeah,
I think.
I can't think of any other options.
Heliod, you can make another persuasion roll to sort of push for that. On that one, you will be able to do it with advantage this time, as you have the crowd.
Could you make
it
part of your prey? Do you think preying ability?
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. So with the 12 on that one, the crowd seem to be umming and ahhing a little bit as this is going on, but you kind of put all attention it doesn't fall on you so greatly because of it's not the greatest speech in the world as you do it, but you kind of all eyes and all ears end up on Valus as this is all going on, much to the chagrin of the king as this is going on. And she says, "We gods are capable of saving the city. Joined together, we will weave a spell to counter Sidon's magic. Such a miracle will require sacrifice of power, but we will do what we must to save our city, and we will prepare." And with that, she will start to move off with her entourage as this is going on.
Did she just say sacrifice of power?
Of power was what you got out of it, but you don't know all the ins and outs at this moment.
There's something going on.
The king and his concubine will be heading off in a different direction as this is all going on, and the Commander Gaius sort of steps in line next to the king, whereas Cronus steps back and sits down on the plinth to one side as this is all going on. But yeah, you seem like this meeting is coming to an end as this is all going on. And basically, guys, we will be picking up next time with the rest. We will find out what's going on. But well done.
Get to sleep.
He is clearly under control, isn't he?
We'll still see.
Do we get to have a long rest in the city?
Well, you certainly will be. Yeah, you certainly will be on that one. But basically, where we will pick up next time is you will be in the palace and. You will get a message from Valus to meet her in her quarters. So you'll be going off to meet one of the gods to discuss things as that's going on. But yeah, well done, guys. That's
Kira's sister,
a very different... Yeah, Kira's sister. Yeah. Valus. But yeah, very different thing to have to try and play through. I know it's to try and get you to understand... this sort of thing is a very, very different from just the combat. But well done. Yeah. Not bad going. Not bad going.
But I got to get us to roll... to our strengths, really. Who's best placed to do it, really.
100%. Yeah, there's nothing. Like I said, there was nothing wrong in what you guys were suggesting. I'm not saying none of these are like this is the clear answer, if that makes sense. And any of it, it's supposed to be a sort of like it's not. The more you can think outside the box, sometimes the more you can throw some weird and wonderfuls into it. But the way that worked out, you were kind of in the process of. The king scored a couple of points against you, but you guys managed to, word it back quite well to make it like it's not all you're doing, if that makes sense. So you're not looked down upon because of this incident, if that makes sense. But